Huwag na po tayong magbulag-bulagan, Mr. President. Alam natin, bakit meron pong potential threat na dalawa sa ating mga kasama sa institusyong ito, Mr. President?
Kahit po yung isa kong kasamahan dito sa Senado, na si Senator Bato de la Rosa.
Bakit po bigla na lamang nakukunin halimbawa ang isang mamamayan natin nang hindi natin ginagawa ang katungkulan sa ilalim ng batas na ginawa natin?
Napakasakit po para sa atin, mga Pilipino. Nililitis ng dayuhan. Huwag po tayong pumayag na isang dayuhan muli ang magmukhang mas mataas sa atin.
Ginoong Pangulo, sa kontratang ito na pinirmahan natin sa pagitan ng ating bansa at ng Estados Unidos, sa pamagitan ng note verbal, at ito'y nagkaroon ng visa ng 2003, ginagarantiya natin na sino mang American national, official o employee, kahit sino sila na nandito sa ating bansa, ay hindi natin ibibigay automatic sa ICC o kauring mga tribunal kung walang consent ang Amerika. Dito lamang, Mr. President, masusukat natin ang pagpapahalaga natin sa karapatan ng isang mamamayan, Pilipino man o hindi. Kung pwede nating proteksyonan ang mga banyaga na nakatira sa ating bansa at tayo gumarantya sa pamagitan ng ating pakikipagkontrata sa kanila, di ba mas lalong bigyan natin ang pagpapahalaga ang sarili nating mamamayan, Mr. President? Mr. President, the Philippines is willing and able to prosecute crimes for humanity. First, it has criminalized crimes against humanity under Republic Act 9851. The Supreme Court has designated special courts to try cases under this law. It has designed new writs to facilitate investigation, prosecution, such as the writ of amparo and the protection of witnesses and victims. There are government agencies funded and manned to investigate crimes under this law. Isinama pa dito, Ginoong Pangulo, ang Human Rights Commission, ang Department of Justice, at lahat ng mga hukom ay binibigyan po ng panahon na kakailangan nila mag-training sila upang sa ganun may sagawa ang pagpapatupad ng batas na ito na ginawa mismo ng ating legislature. Our willingness and preparedness to prosecute crimes against humanity was recently expressed by the Philippine Permanent Mission to the United Nations in its commentary dated April 12, 2023 on the revision of the definition of crimes against humanity. Mr. President, our government reiterated that under our law, our national law, the Philippines shall exercise jurisdiction over persons, whether military or civilian, suspected or accused, or other crimes against humanity, regardless of where the crime is committed, provided any of the following conditions is met. The accused is our citizen. The accused, regardless of citizenship or residence, is present in the Philippines, and the accused has committed the said crime against a Filipino citizen. Our government also agreed to competent authorities that its competent authorities shall proceed to investigate whenever there is reasonable ground to believe that acts constituting crimes against humanity have been committed in any territory under its jurisdiction. This is a clear assertion of the principle of complementarity that should rule out an extraordinary rendition of a Filipino citizen to the ICC. Mr. President, let me emphasize that our law, Republic Act 9851, acquires primary jurisdiction to crimes against humanity. Preparado po tayo. The last time I checked, the Supreme Court has not made any declaration that it is unwilling or it is incapable or it is unable to hear cases within our country. As a matter of fact, the law is prepared. And all the instrumentalities and agencies concerned in the prosecution and litigation of cases against humanity and similar crimes. Preparado po ang ating bansa, ang ating korte, even our prosecutor services, preparado. Sa makatwid, the primary jurisdiction rests in our country. Complementarity will only come in kung wala na po tayong kakayahan na isagawa ang nararapat para akusahan, ilitigate ang lahat ng mga kasong sinasaad sa ating batas. So paano po papasok? Bakit po bigla na lamang nakukunin halimbawa ang isang mamamayan natin nang hindi natin ginagawa ang katungkulan sa ilalim ng batas na ginawa natin? Republic Act 9851 has not been repealed so far, Mr. President. It is active. Bakit hindi po ginagamit ito? Bakit meron pong potential threat na dalawa sa ating mga kasama sa institusyong ito, Mr. President? Kaya nga po ang isa rito ay hindi nakapagsasagawa ng kanyang tungkulin sapagkat may dalang takot po dahil magsasagawa ng extrajudicial rendition ang isang korte na kung saan ang kanyang jurisdiction ay hindi na po natin kinikilala, Mr. President. Hindi na po tayo member ng Rome Statute. Pero nakaabang parang sword of Damocles hanging on the heads dito sa mga kasama natin sa chamber na ito, Mr. President. Kung halimbawa, Mr. President, inadapt natin ang resolution na ito, ano ang susunod na hakbang, Mr. President? Halimbawa, nag-issue ng warrant of arrest ang ICC sa isa sa kasama natin dito sa chamber na ito. Ano ang magagawa ng isang resolution, Mr. President? Ang resolution ba will have the effect of notifying all agencies concerned, like the PNP or the DOJ, na magdahan-dahan kayo. Huwag kayong magdalos-dalos. Huwag kayong padalos-dalos kasi nagsalita na ang Senado. The sense of the Senate has been declared na ayaw natin, na kailangang panagutan muna ang ating saligang batas, ang umiiral na batas tungkol dito, na ang primary jurisdiction ay ating bansa. Papasok lamang ang ICC o kung sino man under the doctrine of complementarity. Hindi kailanman papasok, Mr. President, dahil nga ang ating mga hukuman, ang ating mga piskalya ay handa at willing and able to do their functions. So paano magkakaroon ng puwang na mag-i-issue ang isang banyagang tribunal at pagkatapos ay hindi natin kikilalanin ang sariling batas na tayo mismo ang gumawa, Mr. President? Ito po ang, siguro pwede natin sabing, the ironies of all ironies. Tayo na po ang gumawa ng batas para parusahan natin ang sino man, national man natin o hindi national na residente sa ating bansa. Pagkatapos ay papasok ang isang banyagang tribunal na wala ng karapatan sapagkat wala na nga tayo sa Rome Statute. Ito ang mga katanungan, Mr. President, na dapat magkaroon po ng kasagutan sa lalong madaling panahon. Nararamdaman ko po ang nararamdaman ng mga kasama natin. Huwag na po tayong magbulag-bulagan, Mr. President. Alam natin, kung tayo po ang nasa kanilang kalagayan, nakikita rin po siguro natin ang takot na namamayani sa ating kalooban. Hindi po maganda yon, Mr. President. Kaya po kailangan nating sigurong pagsikapan, ayusin ang mga bagay na may kinalaman sa problemang ito para sa ganon matiwasay nating magawa ang ating mga gawain at sagutin sa ating mamayan. Maraming salamat po, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Sino gusto mag-sponsor? May recognize our distinguished colleague, Mr. President, Senator Amy Marcos.
Senator Amy Marcos is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, Majority Leader. Esteemed colleagues of the Philippine Senate, good afternoon. I rise to co-sponsor with Senator Marcoleta and Senator Cayetano the proposed Senate Resolution 307 entitled Resolution Expressing the Sense of the Senate of the Philippines to Protect All Filipinos Against Extraordinary Rendition and Guarantee them a reasonable time prior to their surrender by or extradition from the Philippines to seek redress from the courts and avail of legal remedies. Ang hustisya na ipinapataw ng dayuhan ay hindi hustisya. Ito ang pagpapahiya. Ito ay pang-aalipin. At mga kababayan ko, hindi tayo alipin. Tayo ay Pilipino. At kung Pilipino ka, hindi ka susuko at hindi mo isusuko ang kapwa mong Pilipino, hindi mo isusuko ang iyong pagiging Pilipino. Almost 1 year ago, on that fateful day of 11 March 2025, the Philippine government, acting in coordination with the International Criminal Court, a tribunal whose jurisdiction the Philippines has long and consistently denied, caused the arrest of former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte without a warrant issued by any Philippine court. Not content with effecting that arrest, absent any local judicial authority, the government then transported him to The Hague, thereby completing what can only be described as an extrajudicial rendition. Ganito ang nangyari kay Rodrigo Duterte sa kamay ng mga dayuhan na para bang wala siyang sariling bayan, na para bang wala tayong kakayahang humusga sa sarili nating bansa. Mga kababayan, kung may anak kang nasa panganib, ipapasa mo ba siya sa kamay ng iba? Kung may kaibigan kang pinararatangan, hahayaan mo bang ibang tao ang humusga sa kanya habang nakatali ang kanyang kamay at wala siyang laban? Kung ang iyong ama, matanda na at may sakit, ay kinakaladkad palabas ng inyong sariling tahanan, manonood ka na lang ba at walang gagawin? Today, we are confronted with the prospect that the same course of action may once again be undertaken. If we are to remain faithful to our oath to preserve and defend the Constitution, we cannot allow this to pass without clarity, without principle, without constitutional fidelity. During the 19th Congress, your Senate Committee on Foreign Relations conducted extensive hearings into the executive's actions. From the testimony of respected and constitutional authorities, including retired Supreme Court Justice Adolfo Ascuna, a member and author of the 1987 Constitutional Commission, and the constitutional law scholar, Attorney Alexis Medina, two propositions emerged with unmistakable clarity. First, the judicial intervention by Philippine courts is indispensable before the government may arrest a Filipino citizen within our territory and transport him to another jurisdiction. Second, any Filipino citizen arrested in this country without local judicial proceedings retains the right to seek redress before Philippine courts. These are not technicalities. These are constitutional imperatives repeated time and again. And no degree of legal engineering, of semantic maneuvering, or strained interpretation should be permitted to circumvent these constitutional guarantees. During the committee hearing on the 20th of March 2025, Attorney Medina clarified that the term surrender under Section 17 of RA 9851 applies only in two instances. First, when the person to be arrested has already voluntarily surrendered to the custody of the national government, thereby negating the need for extradition proceedings. And second, the person to be arrested is an alien, in which case what will be involved is only a deportation process which does not involve any court proceedings at all. Outside of these very narrowly defined instances, the arrest and transfer of a person to a foreign jurisdiction without local court proceedings would not be sanctioned by our Constitution. For our 1987 Constitution is unequivocal. Article 3, Section 2 of the Bill of Rights provides, no warrant of arrest shall issue except upon probable cause to be personally determined by the judge after determination under oath or affirmation of the complainant and the witnesses he may produce. The judge contemplated by the Constitution can only be a Philippine judge. Article 8, Section 1 vests judicial power in one single Supreme Court and in such lower courts as may be established by law. The International Criminal Court is not such lower court established by Philippine law. For one, no Philippine statute created the ICC. For another, if the ICC were indeed a lower court, then it clearly means that the Supreme Court can reverse or nullify its decisions and even discipline its judges. The Supreme Court can do neither. Moreover, assuming arguendo that the ICC warrant could be issued domestically without prior judicial action, Article 59(2) of the Rome Statute itself requires that the arrested person be brought promptly before the competent judicial authority of the custodial state. Paragraph 3 further grants the person the right to apply for interim relief before that self-same authority. As Justice Escuna testified during the committee hearing of 10 April 2025, the failure of Philippine authorities to bring the arrested individual before the local courts constitute a violation of Article 59. And as emphasized within our own legal system, there will be consequences for that violation. There is therefore no gray area whatsoever here, no ambiguity, no room for creative interpretation, much less construction. Only Philippine courts may issue a constitutionally valid warrant of arrest enforceable within our jurisdiction, and any person deprived of liberty within Philippine territory without such judicial authority has the right to seek redress before our courts, whether that person be a private citizen, a former president, or a senator. To insist otherwise would reduce the guarantees of our Bill of Rights to mere parchment and would erode the judicial power solemnly vested by the Constitution upon the Philippine judiciary alone. Sabi nila, batas ang dapat manaig. Tama, the law must prevail. But whose law? Our law or theirs? Since when did the Philippines become a province of The Hague? Tayo ba ay isang bansa na may sariling batas? O isa na lang tayong alipin na naghihintay ng utos? Kung kaya nilang gawin ito sa isang dating Pangulo, kaya rin nilang gawin ito sa sino man sa atin. If they can march into our homes, grab hold of our family, and drag them before their courts, when will they stop? And how will they be stopped from doing it again? What stops them from doing it to you, to me, to any one of us? For these reasons, I respectfully and urgently endorse the immediate adoption of our Resolution 307. Thank you and good day to all my colleagues. Thank you.
Salamat po sa good gentlewoman from Ilocos Norte. Next to sponsor the resolution, Mr. President, Senator Jinggoy Estrada.
Senator Jinggoy Estrada is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, please allow this representation to co-sponsor proposed Senate Resolution number 307, expressing the sense of the Senate of the Philippines to protect all Filipinos against extraordinary rendition and guarantee them a reasonable time prior to their surrender or extradition from the Philippines to seek redress from the local courts and avail of legal remedies. The most fundamental principle of the 1987 Philippine Constitution, as contained in the Bill of Rights, is very clear. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of the law, nor shall any person be denied the equal protection of the laws. Malinaw din ang nakasaad sa ating saligang batas na ang bawat akusado ay may likas na karapatan sa due process at sa presumption of innocence hanggang mapatunayan kung meron nga silang pagkakasala sa batas. Hindi natin maaaring isantabi ang ating sariling mga korte at ang soberanya ng ating bansa sa harap ng anumang international na proseso. Filipinos should be tried in competent Philippine courts. Karapatan nilang madinig ang kanilang panig kahit ano pa ang inaakusa sa kanila. Naniniwala ako na patuloy na gumagana at matibay pa rin ang pundasyon ng ating justice system at matitiyak na dadaan sa tamang proseso ang lahat, alinsunod sa mga umiiral na batas. Ang resolusyong ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga kasamahan nating senador na pinangalanan sa mga kaso sa ICC, kundi para sa lahat ng Filipino na maaaring maharap sa ganitong sitwasyon. Ang bawat mamamayan ay dapat bigyan ng pagkakataon upang makapaghain ng legal na remedyo sa ating mga lokal na hukuman bago sila isuko o i-extradite. Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Pangulo.
Majority Leader.
Salamat po sa good gentleman mula sa San Juan. Next to co-sponsor, proposed Senate Resolution 307, Mr. President, Senator Christopher Bongo.
Senator Christopher Bongo is recognized.
Mr. President, esteemed colleagues, I rise to express my support and to co-sponsor the Senate resolution expressing the sense of the Senate to protect all Filipinos against extraordinary rendition and guarantee them a reasonable time prior to their surrender by or extradition from the Philippines to seek redress from the courts and avail of legal remedies. The very core of this resolution is a simple but powerful principle. No Filipino should be deprived of liberty without due process of law. This is not merely a legal or procedural technicality, but a constitutional guarantee enshrined in our fundamental law. Mr. President, let me address this matter with full transparency. I have always believed in the due process of the law. This resolution may appear to intersect with my personal circumstances, and I do not shy away from that reality. But precisely because of that reality, I speak today and support this resolution not merely as a legislator, but as a Filipino who believes deeply in the protections guaranteed by our Constitution. This resolution is not crafted to serve any individual. It is not a shield for the powerful, nor it is a refuge for the guilty. It is a reaffirmation that every Filipino, ordinary citizen or public official, karaniwang mamamayan man o nasa pwesto, stands equal before the law under its protection. Wala naman sigurong Pilipino ang ayaw magtrabaho o umiwas sa tungkulin. Sino bang ayaw magtrabaho? Ang gusto lang natin ay makasiguro na ang bawat Pilipino ay protektado at lahat ay dumaan sa due process. Ako po mismo, tinatanong nila. Ako naman po yung nagtatrabaho, Lunes hanggang Linggo po. At hindi ko po matiis na nakaupo lamang dito sa malamig na opisina habang mga kababayan natin nangangailangan po ng tulong. At yan naman po ang aking sinumpaang tungkulin. Kahit saang sulok kayo ng Pilipinas, bagyo, baha, putok ng bulkan, sunog, lindol, pinupuntahan ko lang lahat mga lugar na yan. Basta kaya lang po ng aking katawan at panahon. Dahil bisyo ko po magserbisyo sa ating mga kababayang Pilipino at naniniwala po ako na ang serbisyo po sa tao ay serbisyo po yan sa Panginoong Diyos. At kahit po yung isa kong kasamahan dito sa Senado na si Senator Bato de la Rosa ay isa rin po sa mga masisipag nating senador na gusto rin pong makapagtrabaho lang po ng maayos. Further, Mr. President, as we speak today, this issue goes beyond the proceedings before the International Criminal Court. This is not merely about one case or one individual. The principle at stake applies to any foreign entity, tribunal, or international body that seeks to exercise jurisdiction over a Filipino citizen. Hindi lamang po ito nakapaloob sa proceedings ng ICC, the same standard must apply to any foreign tribunal or authority issuing orders that may result in the transfer of a Filipino to another country for investigation or prosecution. Before any Filipino is brought outside our jurisdiction and subjected to foreign processes, there must be first strict compliance with our Constitution, our laws, and the fundamental requirement of due process. Bakit natin papayagan na manghimasok ang foreign tribunal without passing through local courts? Huwag naman sana po tayong pumayag ng ganon. Last year, the Supreme Court released rules on extradition proceedings. Naglabas po sila last year. I think naging effectivity noon ay November 10. However, may mga nagsasabi na applicable lang po ito sa state-to-state request for extradition. Kaya hanggang ngayon, parang may gray area po dyan. Sana po'y once and for all, masettle na po ito ng Supreme Court, Mr. President. Co-equal branches nga po ang tawag sa atin dito. Executive, legislative, and judiciary. At posibleng kung sakali ay ang executive ang mag-i-implement. At posibleng sakali, legislative po ang matatamaan. So once and for all, sana po matuldukan na po ito ng judiciary. Sila naman po ang final arbiter at makakapag-desisyon yan. Mr. President, I reiterate that this resolution does not obstruct justice. It strengthens it. It does not defy international cooperation. It ensures that such cooperation operates within constitutional bounds. The Philippines can honor its international obligations whilst still safeguarding the fundamental rights of its people. At the end of the day, I still believe that the true test of our commitment to justice is how we treat the favored. But, ulitin ko lang po, at the end of the day, I still believe that the true test of our commitment to justice is not how we treat the favored, but how we protect the rights of those under accusation. Nakikiusap po ako sa mga kasamahan natin dito sa Senado, proteksyonan po natin ang ating ang institusyon. And I urge this chamber to stand firm in defense of due process and to adopt this resolution in the name of constitutional fidelity and equal protection for all. Maraming salamat po, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Maraming salamat din po, Mr. President, sa good gentleman mula sa Davao. Mr. President, Senator Robin Hood Padilla wishes that his co-sponsorship speech for the resolution be inserted for the record. Oh, I'm so sorry.
If there is no objection, it's so inserted into the records.
Just to make of record, Mr. President, there was an indication from the good gentleman mula po sa Camarines Norte na baka mas gusto nilang ma-deliver yung kanilang co-sponsorship speech. I withdraw my earlier motion.
Then
Mr.
we recognize
President.
Senator Robin Padilla.
Salamat po, Mr.
Maraming
President.
salamat po, Ginoong Pangulo, at sa ating pinunong mayorya, sa ating pong kasama, Senator Risa Hontiveros. Ako po naman ay gusto ko lamang pong magbigay ng maiksing manifestasyon sapagkat napakabigat po para sa akin. Narinig ko na po ang mga sinabi ng aking kaibigan, Senator Marcoleta at Senator Amy Marcos, Senator Jingo Estrada, Senator Bongo. Nagbigay po sila ng mga halimbawa ng usaping legal. Ang akin pong punto ay usapin ng patungkol sa ating pagmamahal sa ating kalayaan at kasarinlan, kasaysayan. Napakasakit po para sa atin, mga Pilipino, na namnamin natin na meron po tayong mga kababayan na nasa ibang bansa at doon dumadaan sa isang paglilitis. Nililitis ng dayuhan. Napakasakit pong mapanood. Hindi ko nga kayang panoorin na meron isang huwes, merong mga abogadong prosecutor, iba't ibang lahi, na kababayan natin ang gusto nilang bigyan ng paghuhusga. Ang akin pong hiling, ako naman isang ayon, meron tayong mga treaties. Totoo po yan. Bahagi tayo ng pandaigdigang komunidad. Ngunit ang pakikipagtulungan sa ibang bansa ay hindi dapat nangangahulugan ng pagsuko ng ating sariling jurisdiksyon at pagtalikod po sa ating mga korte. Dahil ang mga korte na yan ang simbolo ng ating kalayaan eh. Pinaglaban po yan ng ating mga bayani. At tayo nandito, tayo po'y may Senado ngayon sapagkat ipinaglaban po ng ating mga bayani yung ating kalayaan na husgahan ang ating mga sarili. Kaya, pakiusap ko sa aking mga kasama, bagamat wala silang karamihan ngayon dito, alam ko naman na nanonood sila. Ang iba naman ay nakausap ko na at sila ay naniniwala na dapat ay dumaan sa korte natin ang sino man, hindi lamang po mga kasama natin dito, kundi lahat ng mga Pilipino na kapag gustong dalhin sa ibang bansa ay dumaan muna sa korte natin. Ako ay nakikiusap sa ating mga kasama na magnilay-nilay. Kung meron po tayo dapat na paniwalaang maghuhusga sa mga kasama natin, ay dapat ay Pilipino rin. Huwag po tayong pumayag na isang dayuhan muli ang magmukhang mas mataas sa atin. Dahil yan po ay hindi papayag ang ating mga bayani sapagkat ipinaglaban nila yan na tayo'y kapantay ng mga dayuhan. Hindi tayo kailanman sasailalim sa kanilang sinasabing katalinuhan o sa kanilang panghuhusga. Kaya po mga kasama, ang sinasabi po natin, bago po sana natin isuko ang isang Pilipino sa ibang jurisdiction, tiyakin muna po natin na mabigyan siya ng sapat na panahon at pagkakataon upang dumulog sa sariling korte ng kanyang bayan. Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Pangulo.
Majority Leader.
Maraming salamat.